Hi, this is Jesse Liberty, and this is the second in a series of short videos on Git. Today we'll be talking about creating your repository. To get started, we'll navigate to github.com. If you don't already have an account there, you'll want to create one, and then you're going to come over and click the green New button. That will allow you to create a new repository. Let's go ahead and give our repository a name. As you type, it will tell you whether that name has been taken already. We'll use get for prog2 since this is the second video. Now, very important, you're going to want to fill in the description because that is what will appear in a few places to help people who come to your repository to understand what it is. Next is your choice to make it public or private. I'll make this public. Then you need to agree to have a README file, again, very important for people who come to your repository. And next, your get file. This can be used for any number of languages. I'm going to use Visual Studio because that has all of the file types that I want to have ignored, that is not put into my repository. Finally, I'm going to choose a license. I'll choose the MIT license because that's a very liberal license and I want this code to be usable. And then I'll say that I want to create this repository. You can see that the repository now holds 3 files, but that is up on the repository in the cloud and not on my disk. In order to get it to my disk, I need to clone it. And to do that, I'll come to this green button and choose Clone and Copy, which will copy the URL that I want to clone to my disk. Notice that I could also have chosen to clone using Visual Studio or even GitHub Desktop. I'm going to do it at the command line. So I'll open up my terminal and I will navigate to the place where I want the repository to be installed. Then I issue the command git clone and paste in the URL I was given, and that's going to clone the repository from the server, usually called origin, to the local repository. You can see when we look in the directory that those files are now local as well. Let's go ahead and create a Visual Studio program in C#. We're going to choose Console App, C#, and choose Next. Now we need to give it a name. I'm going to give it the same name that I used on the repository. Not required, but boy, does it make your life easier. Next, I need to decide on the location where I want to clone to. I can browse to find a different location, or I can accept the location that was offered originally. We're ready to continue. Let's click Next, accept .NET 6, and our project will be created. The simplest console application, but it has the same name as our repository. And when we run it, we see that it works. It says hello world. If we call get status, it will show us that there's a new directory for our local repository. We can add that by saying get add and then the dot, which means everything. And now our status shows us that we have 3 files that need to be added to the repository. To see what we have right now, we can use the get log command, and that shows us that we have one commit, which is the one that Git created, but the files that we created are not yet committed. So we will say get commit, and that will add our files, and we can see that in get log that we have created a new commit. Let's go back to the server, and even when we refresh the page, our new program is not there. It's only in our local repository so far. There's nothing automatic that puts it up on the remote repository. For that, you need the command get push. So we'll say get push, and that will push our files up to the remote repository. And when we refresh the page, sure enough, there is the directory. Inside the directory is the solution file and another directory inside of which is program.cs, and inside of that is the code that we expect. We'll go into more details about get, commit, and push in the next video.